How to smoke meats, part 1. First off, you need a good smoker. This is a small one. Get the coals started. Make sure you add in plenty of wood chips, such as what I've done. Allow that to get all nice and hot. Coals get going good. Then you prepare your meats. What I have here is a pork shoulder allowed to marinate in the refrigerator, in bag, with 1.5 to 2 cups of blackberry Merlot wine. This will enhance the flavoring and give it a slight sweet, nutty flavor. Here I've added black pepper and grated powder, garlic powder. Now this is going to help counteract a lot of the sweetness of the wine. Now inside of the smoker, what I have done in the smoker, it's still going good, as you can see, I've added 2 types of wood. Pieces of pecan and pear. The pecan is going to give it a good hearty nut flavor, and the pear a slight sweet flavor. Now you see it's in the smoker now. I like to keep my meat way back. And like I said earlier, keep it in a pan. It makes it a lot easier on cleanup of the smoker. Now, what you do, close the lid. Now, remember, this is a small smoker, but you can use any side. Come over, slightly close the air vent. As you can see here, this is the smoke vent. You're going to close that almost completely. Come over here to the air vent that allows air to come in to the smoker. And you want to close that down. Smoking meat is done simply by the following method. Slow smoke cooks the meat thoroughly at a slow, low temperature. What this will do, the slow smoking of the meat will go ahead and allow the meat to cook thoroughly, enhance the flavor. Along with that, it makes it extremely tender. Now if you have a brisket, it's always good to marinate the brisket at least 2 days. Pork, you really only need to marinate it 1 day. Game meats also 1 day. Save back the marination. That you can add, like I did with this pan, instantly allowing it to cook, and the steams will get into the meat and help tenderize it. As you can see, the smoker, notice how it's more of it's coming out through the front door than through the top, which is fine. This is going to allow the meat to smoke completely. This is a great thing for survival. Smoked meats can be kept indefinitely, and if you do not want to heat up your house. Smoking of meats actually comes from a Native American term called barbacoa. Barbacoa means sacred fire, sacred smoke. What I'm doing now is called Texas style barbecue. Barbecue actually comes from the Native American term barbacoa. Barbacoa meant literally sacred smoke or sacred fire. This is what the natives had taught the Anglos as they first came over, how to successfully smoke and treat meats. Now with this, one thing you must remember, when smoking a meat, you smoke it at 250 degrees per pound per hour. So if you have a pork butt that weighs 10 pounds, then you smoke that meat for 10 hours at 250 degrees. The only time this rule is not applied is for fish, which then is half the time, due to the fact that there is less fat and less muscular aspects to that meat. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually checking out the drawer and verifying, yes, the coals are still going good here, as you can see. And what I'll be doing is adding some more wood chips to the smoker. You got to constantly do this every hour on the hour when you're checking your meat out, check your coals. Add a few more wood chips. Do it and stir the coals up. This will allow a good even smoking. And as you can see, the smoke is now funneling backwards. As you can see here, I'm adding some more wood chips to the smoker. Random sizes will allow the pieces of wood to cook off. A lot of it is damp, which I allowed it to be. Again, this will prevent it from burning the meat and allowing the wood to smoke and smolder compared to cooking it too fast. Place the new wood upon the coals like I just did. Here's an up close and personal view. Close the door and verify. You can already see, notice how the sauce is cooking. And within that short period of time of approximately 15 minutes, it has already started the slow process of cooking. Now, if you have issues with your coals, you can always add a little bit of paper. This is what I love, junk meal. Junk meal makes the most simplistic means of doing smoking. Gives you free material to start the coals going good. Also, you get to really tell the government and the people what you think of them. They want to give you junk meal, fine. Use it in your smoker. As you can see, there's still just a little bit of flames going. The meat's slowly cooking, becoming tenderized. That's all there is to it. Come out every so often. Now this pork shoulder that I just put in the smoker is going to take me about 5 hours. So every hour on the hour I'll be coming out and keeping you updated on this video. Okay, this is 1 hour later. I am now going to take that meat and flip it over. You must be very careful when doing that so as not to burn yourself, drop the meat, or cause damage to the product. You don't want to stick it, you want to flip it using tongs. Okay, as you can see here, there is a little bit of scorching, which is, well, it's normal. That's the skin of the pork anyways. That's going to be left on, and we want to cook that down. Here you can see where the Merlot wine and the sugars and starches from the wines has intermingled with some of the grease right there. That's fine. That's going to add more flavor. Now what I'll do, again, I'm going to add some seasoning. Not too much. Again, you just want just enough to give it a little kick. Not so much that you can't taste the meat, nor the wood smoke. I always like to add just a hint of black pepper too. Okay, here I just picked some of my fresh homegrown mint. It's still in my herb garden. It is in the middle of December. And yes, here in sunny Texas, we all happen to have some good weather. We can grow crops year-round, y'all. But taking this mint, I'm going to place this on top of the pork, like that. Now that's going to help add more flavor to the meat. Now the reason why I always add the mint last, or at least during the second half, is strictly to go ahead and to permeate the meat completely. Now I've added a couple more chunks of wood to help it go better and keep the smoking process smooth and even. You can see how the added wood actually helps the coals smolder better. Now I'm going to give you a little hint to everyone that's just first trying to do smoking meats. The big thing is you have to remember this completely. You can use any type of wood except poison sumac, pine, or poison oak. If it's a hardwood, you can use it. Hardwoods usually those that are nut will have a nutty flavor. If you use a fruit tree or a softwood, it'll give a more mellow. And what I like to do is mix and match. I will actually add, such as today, half pecan, half pear. This will balance out the smoke flavors without having it too overpowering of one or the other. On this door, you can actually see the resin that has built up from the years of using this smoker. This is the same type of resin that you will find in your chimneys. And it is a fire hazard. But for a smoker, it actually adds more flavor. So whatever you do, don't remove the resin. That adds a little bit more hint and mystique to your foods. Another thing I don't like to do is I do not like to add mesquite. Mesquite, actually, a lot of people are allergic to it because it does have mild toxins in it. So don't use mesquite. If you're going to use and smoke, don't use mesquite. Mesquite is toxic. A lot of people are allergic to it. If you're going to smoke meats, use hardwood, wood from nut trees, or fruit bearing. Those are the best. Remember, do not use pine or sumac. And when this meat gets done, I will go ahead, cut it up, and show you how it looks. And here's so far what the pork butt looks like after 3.5 hours of smoking. You notice how the meat has already started separating from the bone. You notice nice coloration. You notice how the seasoning has wilted. Now we're going to flip the meat again. Be very careful. Please, children, do not attempt this at home using your hands. Now you notice how some of the bone and the blood is still running. That's normal, that's natural. This is what we want. We want to keep the blood on the inside. This is why we constantly flip and rotate the meat. Monitor the heat, rotate the meat, you have good food. Now as you can see, the coals have become more lively. The meat is cooking really well. The scent of the smoke, the herbs, and the wine is exhilarating. And soon it'll be time to go ahead and feast. And can you say bon appetit? And for those that are vegans, I have 2 words for you. Tough shit. Now, as you can see, after 3 hours of time, it is still smoking really well. Now, we can take a look at the meat. You see how nice that looks. Let me pull this out just a tiny bit. Notice how sweet that meat looks. The scent of the seasonings, the natural herbs and spices, the meat, the wood smoke. So good. Yes, when you cook like this, you're cooking with love. And everything tastes so good. And so, as I said earlier, when this is done, it's called bon appetit. Good eats. Yet, for those that are vegetarian, well, get a life. You'll never enjoy life by being prejudiced.